In this video, we'll look into why repair costs can vary so much when sourcing bids from vendors and what property managers and investors need to know to avoid overpaying. We'll go over key reasons behind price differences like high demand seasons and hidden fees, and how understanding them can help you make better decisions. If you're new to my channel, my name is Radivia Brigham, and I'm the CEO and founder of Proposabid, a done-for-you white glove service provider specializing in sourcing 4 or more competitive apples-to-apples bids and estimations for property repairs, whether it's for single-family homes, multifamily units, or commercial spaces. And on this channel, I'll teach you how to source bids and estimations for your property repairs. And my goal is to help you save time, cut costs, and make confident, financially sound decisions for all of your projects. In our last video, we talked about why being clear and honest when asking for bids is so important. When you're upfront about why you need a repair bid, it builds trust with vendors. Now let's dive in to see why repair costs can vary so much. Sometimes when you get repair bids from different vendors, the prices can be really different, even for the same job. This happens because of things like costs of materials, the time it takes to do the work, or even how busy the vendor is. Some vendors might charge more for their experience, or if they're in high demand, while others might offer lower prices and use cheaper materials. It's important to know what causes these price swings so you can make smart choices. We'll also talk about how to save money by comparing bids, asking questions, and making sure there's no surprise fees. Before we start, let's look at some facts to understand the problem. Big contractors often have higher costs because they have to pay for things like insurance, office space, and extra workers. These costs can take up to 25 to 54% of what they earn, which makes their prices higher. If you overpay on just one job, it causes big bid problems. 30% of property managers say they couldn't afford other important projects because they ran out of money. Many property managers, about 50 to 60%, have also had trouble setting aside the right amount for repairs because contractors' prices are so different. On top of that, nearly 1 in 4 property managers pick a higher price bid thinking it means better quality. But this can lead to spending too much, costing as much as $2,000 to $5,000 more per year per property. By understanding these challenges, you can avoid overspending. Here are some common frequently asked questions that can help you understand the difference in repair costs between vendors. Repair costs vary so much between vendors because vendors have different expenses like labor, material, and overhead. Things like the size of the job, the materials used, how fast the work needs to be done, the location, and believe it or not, the reputation of the property, all play a significant role. By knowing what affects repair costs, you can stay on budget for other important projects. In the bidding process, the wide swing in repair costs from vendors fits into this workflow at several key steps. When staff is handling incoming bids, they often notice the significant price differences between vendors. This is where understanding why these swings happen is critical. From the overhead to the material quality or even the urgency, they all play a role. During the comparable step, staff needs to evaluate if the bids truly match the RFP that was sent out, along with the SO, or if higher prices reflect added value. By identifying and addressing these swings early, staff can make corrections, approve fair bids, and ensure the final award stays within the budget while meeting the property needs. The wide swing in repair costs from vendors can be explained by 5 key points of price variance. We'll take a look at contractor overheads, market conditions, bidding strategies, and the lack of pricing transparency. These factors lead to the final point, the wide variance in property repairs. Owners, investors, and property management companies face the challenge of understanding and managing these differences. In the following slides, we'll take a closer look at each one of these 5 points. And by understanding each factor, you'll gain the tools to make better informed decisions. When sourcing bids, it's common to see big differences in pricing, and a lot of this comes down to contractor size and how they operate. Larger contractors often have higher costs because they pay for things like employee benefits, specialized equipment, and insurance. For example, benefits alone can add an additional 30% to an employee's salary, and larger companies spend significant amounts on training to keep their staff skilled, at an average of about $1,000 per employee in 2023. These investments often lead to better quality work, but they also have higher pricing compared to smaller contractors, who may not spend as much on these areas. Additionally, larger contractors may use specialized high-tech equipment, which requires costly maintenance and often is factored into their bids. Another major cost driver for large contractors is insurance. They typically face higher premiums for general liability, workman's compensation, and commercial auto insurance, which adds thousands of dollars annually to their expenses. General liability insurance for general contractors can average around $1,700 per year, while workman's compensation averages about $4,000 per year. These necessary costs ensure that contractors can protect their business, employees, and clients, but they also make their pricing less competitive than smaller operations that may have fewer insurance obligations. On top of that, larger contractors have additional operational costs like office rent, utilities, and administrative costs. They often have full-time staff handling marketing and client communication, which adds to their overhead. While these operational expenses help maintain a professional and reliable service, they also contribute to higher markups on their bids. These combined factors explain why repair costs can vary so widely between vendors. By understanding these, you can compare bids and evaluate what you're really paying for. When sourcing bids from vendors for repair work, the wide variation in cost often comes down to factors like market conditions, seasonal demand, and supply chain delays. Market conditions plays a significant role, as the construction industry is currently facing a labor shortage of about 80,000 workers, and it's expected to double by 2030. This shortage, combined with rising construction input costs, up 38% since February 2020, forces contractors to raise prices to cover their increased expenses. Labor costs, which include an average of $11.82 per hour for benefits on top of base wages, further contribute to higher bids as contractors struggle to balance demand with workforce limitations. Seasonal demand spikes also create challenges in the bidding process. During peak construction seasons such as spring and summer, demand for labor and materials surge, pushing prices even higher. Labor costs naturally rise during these high demand periods, and the strain on resources is reflected in the bids. For example, in 2022, repairs and maintenance costs for low-income housing tax credit properties saw a 21% increase, outpacing inflation. This seasonal pressure can make it difficult to anticipate and budget for repair costs. Supply chain delays add another layer of complexity, directly impacting material availability and pricing. Pre-pandemic lead times for materials like steel and timber range from 2 to 4 weeks, but now they can stretch to 12 to 16 weeks or longer. Certain items such as electrical switchgears and transformers can take up to a year to arrive. This has caused material costs to skyrocket, with unfulfilled orders for iron and steel products reaching nearly $19 billion in early 2022. Two-thirds of contractors report project delays due to supply chain issues and labor shortages, making it even harder to maintain consistent pricing. Together, these factors make it essential to understand the dynamics to budgeting effectively and navigate the bidding process with confidence. Now, when it comes to bidding strategies, established contractors and new market entrants approach pricing very differently. Established contractors often rely on high margin strategies, leveraging their reputation and experience to justify premium pricing. Their bids reflect not only the cost of material and labor, but also the value of their proven track record, industry connections, and ability to handle complex projects. These contractors typically have higher operational costs, such as offering competitive employee benefits that can add to an additional 30% to salaries. Newer contractors tend to adopt competitive pricing strategies, offering lower prices to attract clients and establish their reputation. This approach can make a budgeting friendly option in the short term, though it often involves tighter profit margins and financial risk. Established contractors frequently charge a brand reputation premium because of their history of delivering high quality work and their ability to mitigate risks in large or complex projects. They invest in maintaining experienced teams, supplier relations, and higher end resources, which drive up their costs but also provide assurance to clients. On the other hand, new contractors often prioritize winning bids by keeping their prices lower. They might price their services slightly below market averages to gain traction in a competitive industry. While this can benefit clients looking to save money, it also means these contractors must carefully balance cost savings with maintaining quality, or they risk jeopardizing their financial stability. Both types of contractors, however, are exploring innovative pricing strategies to stay competitive. Understanding the dynamics between these pricing strategies will help you navigate the bidding process. And by recognizing the strengths and trade-offs of each approach, clients can make informed decisions that align with their project goals and budgets. When comparing options is difficult, there is an increased risk of overpaying. When bids vary widely, it's hard to determine what represents a fair value. Industry-wide pressures are reflected in repair bids, but the range of prices can leave you unsure of which option offers the best deal. Comparing bids becomes even more complicated when contractors have different overhead costs and approach projects in unique ways. Adding to the complexity, the scope of work and material quality can differ from one bid to another, making it difficult to evaluate options on an apples to apples basis. This often creates a struggle to discern whether a higher bid reflects superior quality or simply inflated costs due to the contractor's overhead. The risk of overpaying is another major concern when repair bids vary so widely. Many assume a higher price guarantees better quality, leading to a selection of higher bids unnecessarily. This trend is exacerbated by rising industry costs, where the median repair costs for apartments increased by 46% from 2008 to 2022. Without clear insight into factors driving these prices, you may overpay for repairs, missing opportunities to allocate funds more efficiently. The lack of pricing transparency in repair bids often results in confusion, difficulty in budgeting, and potential cost overruns. When repair and maintenance costs for properties rising rapidly, it's increasingly difficult to determine fair market rates. Without clear and consistent pricing among vendors, many are left guessing what they are truly paying for, which complicates decision making and increases the risk of overspending. Hidden fees and unexpected costs further highlight the problem. Some contractors exclude essential items, such as permit fees, from their initial bid, leading to surprise expenses later. Additionally, when project scopes are vague, contractors might underbid or overbid, not fully understanding the requirements. This lack of clarity can leave owners and property management companies unprepared for the true cost of a project, disrupting financial planning and increasing frustration when budgets are exceeded. The absence of pricing transparency also makes reliable budgeting planning a significant challenge. With repair and maintenance costs growing and compounding at an annual growth rate of 5.6%, one must carefully categorize expenses as fixed or variable to stay in control. To address these issues, you can request detailed cost breakdowns, insist on fixed pricing contracts, and get multiple bids to ensure fair pricing. Next, we're going to go over unpredictable budgeting and the risk of overpaying. This is a critical issue because overpaying on repair projects can drain resources quickly and leave little room for other essential expenses. We'll explore how paying more than necessary impacts budgets, leads to financial strain, and creates missed opportunities for other projects. Unpredictable pricing makes it difficult to set reliable budgets, and with large fluctuations, you are often left guessing how much to allocate for future expenses, increasing the risk of financial shortfalls. Unexpected bills are another common issue stemming from these wide cost variances. Rising maintenance costs, which often outpace rent increases, can squeeze profitability for property owners. Unplanned repair expenses disrupt budgets, create operational inefficiencies, and may even affect tenant satisfaction if funds needed to be diverted from one priority to another. These surprises constrain cash flow, making it difficult to maintain financial stability or respond quickly to urgent repair needs. This unpredictability in cost repairs also makes long-term financial planning a challenge. Without categorizing repairs into fixed and variable costs or using financial forecasting tools, it becomes even harder to plan efficiently. Overpaying on repairs can also stem from assumptions about pricing. Contractor bid prices often vary due to differences in overhead, experience, and project understanding. Some contractors may even use bait and raise tactics, offering lower initial bids only to increase costs later through the change orders. Final thoughts. Understanding the wide variance in repair cost is critical to maintain financial stability and make informed decisions. The fluctuation in pricing stems from several factors like contractor overheads, insurance, employee benefits, market conditions, and also being influenced by labor shortages, material costs, and the diverse bidding strategies from new contractors and the like. These variances create uncertainty in evaluating bids, making it difficult to compare options fairly and increase the risks of overpaying. Unpredictable budgeting becomes a constant hurdle, with unexpected bills and hard to forecast expenses straining financial resources. Overpaying not only depletes funds needed for other essential projects, but can also stretch budgets too thin, impacting the overall value and operation of the property. To navigate these challenges, proactive management is essential. Engage in thorough market research to understand current rates and stats in the industry trends. Requesting detailed cost breakdowns from contractors enhances transparency, allowing for better comparisons and understanding what each bid entails. Ultimately, addressing the issues of cost variance requires a strategic and informed approach. And by being proactive, you can mitigate risks associated with wide swings in repair costs, avoiding overpaying and ensuring that budgets are allocated efficiently. So, all of the information shared in this discussion is backed by research and real-world examples. For those interested in exploring further, I've included a list of references that provide deeper insights into the topics covered. Feel free to review these resources to gain more detailed understanding of how these strategies can make a significant impact on your projects. If you enjoyed this video, then check out the next one where I break down inflation and economic trends impacting repair costs. We will take a look at inflation ramping up, materials and labor prices, having us face a tougher challenge than ever before. And don't forget to scan the QR code for your free strategy call to explore how you can prevent losses, save millions, and focus on what matters in your property repair bid strategy. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.